Hi everyone and welcome to my channel Audio Video and Music Entertainment. In today's video I'm going to do a comparison of iPhone 7 Plus and 7 and 6s Plus. And I'm going to explain you why you guys should opt out for 7 Plus instead of 7, and if you guys are on a budget, why you should consider 6s Plus as well. Okay, so for a start, I'm just going to make it as short as I could, and I'm going to compare it on three different websites, two non-Apple websites and one Apple websites, and I'm just going to go as quick as I could. Okay, to start with the 4G, I'm not just going to go 2G or 3G. 4G, it has got Cat 9 chip installed, which is faster than the previous Cat 6 installed in iPhone 6s Plus. Cat 9 chip LTG 4G chip supports 450 megabits per second downloads and 50 megabits per second uploads. Same with iPhone 7, and in iPhone 6s Plus, it's 300 megabits per second and 50 megabits per second upload. But honestly speaking, you shouldn't be worried about this at this stage because none of the providers supports this kind of download speeds in UK at least, as I'm aware of. So that's nothing you should be worried about. When it comes to weight, the 7 Plus is 188 grams, 7 is 138 grams, and the 6s Plus is 192 grams. All of them, they support nano SIM. Okay. So here comes the interesting part. The newer iPhone 7 Plus and 7, they are IP67 certified, dust and water resistant certified, whereas the previous version 6s Plus is not. And I'm going to explain about the IP67 certification in a bit on this website. Okay, so resolution is 1080p and 401 pixel per inch on the 7 Plus, and it's less on the iPhone 7, and it's the same on iPhone 6s Plus. So far, iPhone 6s Plus is the same, other than the water resistant and the 40LE chip. Okay. Again, the CPU installed in iPhone 7s, sorry, 7 Plus is the A10 Fusion, clocked at 2.23 gigahertz, and it's a quad core. It has got four cores installed. Same in iPhone 7, but in iPhone 6s Plus, it's the dual core 1.8 gigahertz. So iPhone 7 Plus wins here, and the 7 as well. When it comes to the graphics card, it's got six cores, and with the 7, it has six cores as well. But in 6s Plus, it has got six cores as well. I don't know if it's the same model graphics card installed in 7 as 6s Plus, which is the Power VR GT 7600 or not, but you guys can do research on it and find out. But as far as I'm concerned, it has got six cores, so that's good. Now another thing that the SSD installed on iPhone 7 Plus is 32 GB as base, and on 7 as well, whereas on the previous version it starts with 16. So iPhone 7 wins here as well. Here comes another important bit, which is the most important bit in today's era of social media and business: the camera. I mean, the new iPhone 7 Plus has got a dual camera on the back, and I think Apple, they have absolutely nailed it this time. It has got a dual 12 megapixel camera with 28 equivalent of 35 full frame, and the iris or the aperture is f1.8. That means you can shoot in low light without any issues. I mean, that's a good iris or aperture. And there is another telephoto camera on the back, which is 56 equivalent of 35 full frame camera, and the aperture is f2.8, which is again a really decent aperture. Also, it has got optical zoom, which is 2x, which is really good, and then it has got 6x digital zoom as well. With the 7, there is no dual camera on the back. It has just got one 12 megapixel f1.8 camera, which is 28 of 35 full frame, and all three of these cameras in all these three phones, they support optical stabilization. The camera in 6s Plus supports 12 megapixel and f2.2, which is not bad at all, and it's the 29 equivalent of 35 full frame. And as I said, all three of them, they support optical optimization, but by far the camera on 7 Plus wins by far. uh, and the front camera is 8 megapixel, and it supports HDR, and in 7 it's 8 megapixel as well, and in 6s Plus it's 8 megapixel. So there is absolutely no difference with the front camera. Video recording, now this is the most important bit for vloggers. uh, as per the specification here, uh, and here on this website, which is Phones Arena, uh, the 4K recording here is 3840 by 2160 pixels at 30 frames per second, which is the maximum frames per second it can record at 4K. And this is ultra HD. This is not full 4K pixels. So you need to consider that in mind. But obviously, this is not a professional grade camera, and it's still supporting 4K at Ultra HD resolution, which is at 30 frames per second, which is a thumbs up. And for 1080p, which is kind of like a ongoing standard at the moment, and it records at 30, 60, 120 frames per second. Now this is really good bit. 60 frames per second and 120 frames per second. So if you record a video, and in the post, when you're doing the post production, and you want to slow down your video and stuff, then this kind of frames per second would really help you out, and your video will look flawless. So all three phones, they support the same 4K 30 frames per second, 1080p 60 frames per second, and 120 frame per second and 30 frame per second. And for 720p, all three of them, they support 240 frames per second. So in terms of camera, uh, other than the aperture, which is f1.8 on 7 Plus and 7, there is no difference. The aperture on 6s Plus is f2.2, which is not bad at all. So uh, I mean, the 7s Plus wins by far because it has got the dual camera on the back. And if you do research on what those cameras they can do, then you will find out why is it worth to spend money on 7 Plus. Why extra money you should spend in UK, which is, I believe, 17 pounds more or 119 pounds more, as it has got 3 GB RAM and the camera is better. Next, all of them. Now, another thing I want to mention here is uh, they've got rid of the 3.5 jack, which is not a big deal because in the box they are providing lightning to 3.5 headphone jack adapter, which is a cable, lightning cable, and on the other side it has got a 3.5 headphone jack. But the thing is this, what if you lose that cable? Then you have to buy another one. So it's going to be an extra expense. And to me, it's not improving the audio quality when it comes to listening or recording or whatever. So to me, it's not an evolution. It's like uh, way of the way of Apple. So basically, it's not a bad thing because they're providing this cable in the box. But what at a later stage, if you snap that cable or lose that cable, then you have to spend extra money to get it. Whereas in the 6s Plus, it comes with a 3.5 jack. So you could just plug in any kind of headphones as standard. And the Wi-Fi installed, basically, it's the same on all three of them. All three of them, they support the latest AC 802.11 standard, so that's fine. And battery. Now, for battery comparison, I'll take you to Apple website. And here you go. So on the Apple website, if we just scroll down, and let me just scroll down. Okay. When it comes to 7 Plus, which is just right here, the talk time on 3G is 21 hours right here. And on the 7, it's 14 hours. And on 6S Plus, which is right here, if you guys look, it's 24 hours. And so here, 6S Plus battery wins by far if you're talking on 3G. And honestly speaking, once you are in UK, most of the time the signal you'll be getting is 3G. And obviously you get 4G for internet, but while you're on a voice call, you would be getting a 3G signal. Okay, so standby is 16 days on iPhone 7 Plus, and on iPhone 7 it's 10 days, and on iPhone 6s Plus is 16 days. So iPhone 7 and 6 Plus, they win by far from iPhone 7. Okay, internet usage 13 hours on 3G, and on 6s Plus 12 hours, on iPhone 7 12 hours, on 4G 13 hours, 12 hours, 12 hours, and up to 15 hours on Wi-Fi on iPhone 7 Plus, 14 hours on Wi-Fi on 7, and 12 hours on Wi-Fi. So video playback is 14 hours on 6S Plus, 13 hours on 7, 14, and wireless audio playback is 60 hours on 7 Plus, 40 hours on 7, and about 80 hours on 6S Plus. So if you kind like weigh everything up, I mean, 6S Plus is not a bad option if you're on a budget. Obviously, the price has dropped for it. It's not a bad phone. It's just not water resistant and dust resistant. But honestly speaking, until today, none of the iPhones they were water resistant, and we live with it. So if you're on a budget and near the Christmas period, there would be deals. I would suggest you to go with 6S Plus, and it you would not be disappointed. But if you are on urge, or for your business you just need iPhone 7, you just need to upgrade and you don't mind the screen size, I would suggest you to go for iPhone 7 Plus, because it's by far it has got more RAM, which is 3 GB RAM, as in comparison to 2 GB RAM in iPhone 7. And the camera, it has got two dual cameras on the back, which if you are obviously a vlogger, that's going to help you out more in the future. And the battery life in 7 Plus is better than the 7. So there you go. uh, if you are in UK and you're looking to buy iPhone 7 Plus or 7, I would recommend you to go for 7 Plus, because the specification, they are worth the extra 115 or 114 pounds if you're buying SIM free. Now let's come to the IP67 ratings, what exactly it means. So I have opened a website called dsmt.com, which explains what exactly it is. When it comes to IP, it's ingress protection. Uh, then the first digit is for solid protection, second digit is for liquid protection. So Apple supports uh, 67 IP67 certified, IP67 certified. So let's look at it, what exactly it is. So when it comes to solid, 6 stands for dust tight. No ingress of dust, complete protection against contact. So that's what it means. And number 7, the second digit, is for liquid protection, and it means immersion up to 1 meter. Ingress of water in harmful quantity shall not be possible when the enclosure is immersed in water under defined conditions of pressure and time, up to 1 meter of submersion. So basically, it supports water resistant up to 1 meter and not more than 30 minutes, which is obviously mentioned right here, 1 meter and 30 minutes. Okay, guys, hope this would help somebody out there who's in the market for iPhone 7 Plus and 7. And I've just demonstrated what are the major differences and stuff. And in my opinion, if you've got the extra money, then just buy iPhone 7 Plus. If you're on budget, then go for iPhone 6s Plus because it's still a really good phone without the water resistant protection. That's it. And in my next video, I'm going to explain you what is the cheapest way to get the iPhone 7 Plus and 7 in UK, and I'll do the comparison on different websites. Okay, guys, if you have liked this video, please click on the like icon and subscribe to my channel, and I'll keep making good AV and IT and music videos. Thank you. Bye bye.